Picture this. It's 1959, and the famous psychologist Carl Jung is in a BBC interview. He says something that just completely sidesteps centuries of religious debate and, well, it sends shockwaves across the globe. What he said in that moment was so powerful, he had to spend the rest of his life just trying to explain.
The interviewer asks him a simple question. Do you believe in God? And that was his answer. Now think about that for a second. How could a scientist, a man of empirical evidence, claim to know God? This wasn't some slip of the tongue, oh no. This was the absolute core of his life's work, and it caused an immediate uproar.
So here's the crucial point, the key to unlocking this whole thing. Jung wasn't talking about theology. He drew a really sharp line in the sand. Believing for him meant accepting a church doctrine, a metaphysical idea on faith. But knowing? Well, that was about a direct, observable, psychological fact, an experience.
So what did he know? It wasn't Zeus or some old man with a beard in the sky. What he knew from decades of working with patients and exploring his own mind was that the human psyche has this powerful built-in structure. He called it an archetype. And this archetype is what produces those overwhelming, awe-inspiring experiences that we, as a species, have always called divine.
And you have to appreciate his precision here. He's not trying to define God's ultimate nature. He's being a good scientist. He's just giving a name, God, to this observable, powerful, and kind of mysterious force he saw at work inside the human mind. He saw it in his patients, he saw it in myths from around the world, and he definitely saw it in himself.
And this is where it all gets very real and practical. Jung is talking about things you've probably felt. You know that moment you're completely seized by a creative impulse? Or when life just demolishes your 5-year plan out of nowhere? Or even just that quiet inner voice, your conscience, that speaks with an authority that feels bigger than you. For Jung, that is the encounter with this factor.
So this leads us to the next logical question, right? It's the one the interviewer asked him too. If Jung can know God as this present psychological reality, what does his method tell him about the ultimate mystery? Death.
And here you see his incredible intellectual honesty. He absolutely refused to say he knows what happens after death. Why? Because it's not a factor we can constantly observe in the here and now. So instead, he approached it like any good scientist would. He formed a hypothesis based on the psychological evidence he had. And he wasn't just, hoping for the best. He was collecting data. He saw that in our dreams, our minds don't seem to care about the laws of physics or time. He documented how his patients, at the end of their lives, often had powerful dreams about transitioning. He even had his own mind-blowing near-death experience. And he saw our whole life's journey, this process he called individuation, as pointing toward a purpose that seemed bigger than just one lifetime. All that evidence together was enough for him to form a strong hypothesis that consciousness probably continued.
But really, all of this, his ideas about God, about death, about the psyche, it all builds to what is maybe the most powerful summary of his entire worldview. It's a phrase he found when he was just a teenager and lived by his whole life. A phrase so important he eventually had it carved right into the stone above his front door.
Vocatus atque non vocatus, deus aderit. Whether summoned or not, God will be present. And again, by God, he means that huge, autonomous reality of the psyche that's way bigger than our personal ego. The point is, meeting this force, it isn't optional. The encounter is guaranteed.
So this inscription really lays out the 2 ways this encounter can happen. The first path, summoned, is the conscious path. You choose to turn inward. You do the work. You analyze your dreams. You engage with this inner power on purpose. The second path, not summoned, is what happens if you ignore it. And the power doesn't just vanish, it erupts into your life from the outside, as what we call fate, or a sudden crisis, or crippling neuroses. So you see, the choice isn't if you'll meet it, the choice is how.
Jung actually paired that inscription with this other famous saying, and fear here doesn't mean being terrified, not at all. It means awe. It means having a sober, humble respect for a power that is infinitely greater than your conscious mind. And according to Jung, that attitude of awe, that humility, that's the beginning of all true wisdom. So, this is the profound reality that Jung leaves us with. The encounter with the vast power inside you is unavoidable. It's coming, summoned or not. The only question that's left, the one we each have to answer for ourselves, is this: in what form will it arrive for you?